Hi, my name is Steven. In this video, I will show you how to make a WordPress website step by step with no steps skipped. This new way to make a website is just so easy. By the end of this video, you will go from a beginner who knows absolutely nothing about creating a website to an expert in just one video. So this video is perfect for you if you want to become a freelancer and make money, or maybe you just want to start your own web design business, or maybe you just want to create a website for your business, your portfolio, for a friend, maybe for your grandma's or grandpa's business, or maybe you just want to build websites for fun, who knows, right? So whether you're a new or existing WordPress user who have no idea how things work around WordPress, this video is going to be perfect for you, because at the end of this video, you will become an expert in WordPress. So I've separated this video into 6 simple steps. So in the first step, I'm going to show you how to get your domain and hosting. Then I'll show you how to install WordPress. And then I'll show you how to set up your website. And then I'll show you how to design your brand by picking the right colors and picking the right fonts. And then I'll show you how to get everything ready, including your images, how to get everything you need for your website ready before you actually start building your website. So that includes finding the right images for your website, where to find icons, where to get illustrations. So I'll basically show you all the tools that the experts use, because at the end of this video, you'll become an expert yourself. You can use these tools in your design to create a beautiful website, a professional looking website. And then lastly, I'm going to show you how to build your website using a drag and drop page builder. Everything is visual, everything is live. You can add a text, you can increase the size, you can change the background, you can change the settings. You can see all the changes as you're making it. Everything is live. And then I'm going to show you how to make your website responsive, optimize it for mobile and tablets, so that when someone visits your website on tablet, it's going to look good just like this. And when someone visits your website on mobile, it's going to look good just like it. So your website will basically look good on any device. So this is called a responsive design. You need to make sure that your website look good on mobile, especially mobile, because 50% of the traffic that will be coming to your website will be from the mobile phone. Most people tend to use their mobile phone for browsing. So if all this sounds interesting, keep watching and let's get started. So before we jump into step 1, which is getting your domain and hosting, let me introduce you to the tool we are going to be using today, which is WordPress. WordPress is free and open source content management system. Before content management systems like WordPress, websites were previously built using code such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP. Here's an example of HTML and CSS code. This is how websites were previously built. Using this method to build a website will take you ways, because you need to learn how to use these coding languages to build the website. You need to learn the coding languages first, and then you can build your website. But with content management systems like WordPress, Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, and so on, anyone can create a website in few hours without knowing how to write a single line of code. You don't even need to have any design experience or any website experience. You don't even need to know that codes exist if you want. You don't even need to think about it. Don't worry about it, because we're not going to be touching code in this video. So there are so many content management systems available out there, but the one that we're going to be using today is called WordPress. And you're probably asking, why WordPress? Because WordPress is free and it gives you the freedom to create pretty much any kind of website that you want. You can think about it, if you can imagine it, you can create it with WordPress. WordPress is easy to customize with themes and plugins to add extra functionalities to your website. So plugins are basically like app for your phone. You know how you go to the Play Store or Apple Store, you add this app that you want on your phone. This is what plugins are for your website. So they're like app for your website. You add these plugins to add extra functionalities to your website, such as booking, Facebook or Instagram feed, contact form, and so on. And the reason WordPress is the best option for you is because as your website is growing, you can keep scaling your website, and it's SEO friendly, it's secure and easy to manage. It supports all kinds of integration to the software that you need to run a business, like payment gateways, email marketing, and so on. WordPress powers more than 35% of the internet. If you look over here on the market share, you can see that WordPress holds 59.5% of the market share. You can see other content management systems like Joomla, Drupal, Squarespace, Shopify, and so on. They are not even close. All of these combined are not even close to the market share that WordPress holds. If you go over here, you can see some of the notable WordPress users you might be familiar with, such as CNN, Forbes, Best Buy, Sony, eBay, UPS, Jay-Z, Katy Perry, and even Samsung use WordPress. So what do you actually need to get started? So the first thing you need is your domain and hosting. And if you don't know what a domain is, your domain is your website address. For example, Google's domain is google.com, Samsung's domain is samsung.com, and your domain will be your businessname.com or yourname.com. And then hosting is a server where all your website files will be stored. So when you have your website hosted on a server, your website will be accessible via the World Wide Web 24/7. That means people all over the world who have access to your website 24/7, they will be able to go to your domain.com and have access to your website because it's hosted on a server. But if you have a domain and it's not hosted, when someone goes to your domain.com, it's going to show them an error message. So the next thing we're going to do is to get your domain and hosting. Over here on milanoteapp.com, I've created this board for you. Inside this board, you will find everything that we're going to cover in this tutorial, or the link that we're going to be using in this tutorial is inside this board. So go ahead and click on the link in the description box below to open this Milanote board that I've created for you. So once you're on this board, you can double click on step by step. Over here, you can see that step 1 is to get your domain and hosting. And then if you click on the link over here, it will take you to siteground.com, or you can just go to your browser and type wplifestyle.com/hosting and click enter. I will also leave the same link in the description box below. You can just click on it and it will bring you to this page right here. Now this page right here is siteground.com. I've tried so many other web hosting providers. Obviously I've not tried all of them, but I've tried some good ones and the bad ones. And I've been using SiteGround now for more than 3 years and they've been really good. They've been really reliable. Their web hosting is super fast and their support is amazing. If you ever run into any problem and you contact them, they're going to help you right away. So they're really awesome. And you can see here that they're officially recommended by WooCommerce, WordPress.org, and Yoast. So if you scroll down here, you can see that SiteGround have 3 plan options here. So they have the Startup, the Grow Big, and the Go Geek. And the major difference here is pretty much the number of websites that you can host. You can see here that you're able to host one website, that's one domain, but on this one you can host unlimited websites and unlimited website on the Go Geek as well. And here you get 10 gig web space, which is enough if it's just for a small business or a portfolio website. And here you get 20 gigs, and over here you get 40 gig. And here you'll be able to get up to 10,000 visitors per month, and you get 25 here and 100,000 over here. So if you're just a small business, I think 10,000 visitors is enough. And then as your business continue to grow, you can easily upgrade to the Grow Big or Go Geek inside your SiteGround account. So for me, I started off with the Startup, and right now I'm currently using the Go Geek. If you scroll down here, you can also see that SiteGround gives you a lot of free stuff like free SSL, free CDN, free email address, free migrator, free WordPress installation. And this is what some other hosting providers will charge you for. And you also get 30 days money back guarantee. So let's say you purchase this and within 30 days and you're not happy with the services that you're getting from SiteGround, you can request for your money back and they will refund 100% of your money without asking any question. So once you've decided which plan to go with, you can go ahead and click on Get Plan. But I'm going to use the Startup plan to show you guys how to do this because I already have a SiteGround account. So click on Get Plan, and that will bring you to this page right here. And once you're on this page, you have the option to get a new domain or use an existing domain. So if you already have a domain from Namecheap, HostGator, GoDaddy, you can just select I already have a domain and enter that domain here and click Proceed. But in this tutorial, we'll be getting a new domain. So I'll just click Get a New Domain, and then you can enter your domain name here. So you can just think of something unique, maybe your business name or your name, you can use that as your domain as well. Just keep in mind that sometimes the domain name you're choosing might not be available because someone is already using it. For example, if you try facebook.com and click proceed, you can see that you have chosen an invalid domain name. That's because someone is already using it. Obviously, Facebook is already using this facebook.com. So you want to try something else that is still available. So for this tutorial, I'm just going to come up with something random. Okay, so I'm going to say my website 11.com, and then over here on the drop down arrow here, you want to select the extension that you want to use for your domain. So here that you have .com, if you click on this arrow here, you get a whole lot of other extension options. You get the generic ones, you get the country specific ones, and then you get the most popular ones, the one that everyone knows that most people use. If you're from any of this country and you want to use a country specific one, you can go ahead and select that. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to be selecting the .com, so I'll just select the .com over here. And then it's going to tell you that the domain registration is $15 per year. And then you're going to click proceed. And that will bring you to this page right here. You can see that it said your domain name, it's available for registration with your hosting account. So over here, you want to put your email address, put your password here, confirm the password. Just keep in mind that this information here, this email address and password, is what you're going to be using to log into your SiteGround account. So make sure you remember that password and email address. And then if you scroll down here, you're going to see that your country will be automatically selected. But if it's not selected, you can click on this arrow right here and select your country. And then put your name here, your last name. If you have a company name, you can put it here. If you have a tax ID, you can put it here. But if you don't have one, just leave this blank. It doesn't really matter. And then you can select your state or province over here. So I'm in BC, so I'm going to select British Columbia. And you can put your city, and then you can put your address. And then you can put your postal code or zip code here, put your phone number. And then over here, you can use your card here to pay for the hosting and domain. So you can use a Visa card, or you can use a MasterCard or American Express. Put your card number here, the expiration date over here, and put the 3 code at the back of your card. It's called the CVV. Put that code here and put your card holder name, put the name on your card over here. And then here, this billing address, if it's the same as the one that you filled up here, you can just leave this selected. But if it's different, just untick this, then you fill in a new billing address. But in my case, this is the same, so I'm going to leave this selected so I don't have to fill it again. And now you can go ahead and pause the video to fill this up. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to fill this up, and then I'm going to skip this part because I don't want to show my credit card detail and my address on the internet. So I'm going to skip this part, and then we're going to continue over here. Okay, now I've filled up my information. The next thing we're going to do is to complete this section. So plan, over here you can see that we have the startup plan. If you have changed your mind, you want to go with the Grow Big plan, you can change that here as well. And then here your data center will be, this will be selected automatically for you based on where you are browsing from. So I'm in Canada, so the nearest data center to me is in US. So that's why this is selected. So based on where you are, that will be selected for you. It might be different from what you are seeing here. And then the period will be how long you want to pay for. So maybe you want to pay for 12 months, 24 months, or 36 months. I recommend paying for 12 months or 24 months because then you will lock in this $6.99 deal per month. But if you pay for 1 month, after that 1 month, the price will go back to $14.99. So if you can just pay for 12 months because your domain is 1 year anyway. So that will be 12 months for both your domain and hosting. But for this tutorial, I'm going to be paying for 1 month because I already have a SiteGround account and a hosting. So I just want to do this step by step so you guys can follow along to know how you can do this. So the next thing we're going to do is select this domain privacy option here. So this is really important because if you don't select this after you register your domain, people will be able to look up who the domain is registered to. So once you register your domain, it will be available to the public and people will be able to look up all the information that you filled up here, all those details that you filled up, your address, your phone number. People will be able to find that as the owner of the domain, they will be able to find that and they will start contacting you, sending you spam emails that you don't want. You start getting emails like this. See one of these emails that I got here. So I got a lot of them, not just one. I got like so many emails like this. I'm just showing you guys this one as an example. You start getting spam emails like this. So if I go to my spam folder here, you can see that I have a lot of emails like that. You can see, so there's a whole lot of them. So make sure you have that selected over here. And then if you don't want to pay this $12.99 a month, if you're okay with getting spam emails, you can leave this unticked, so you don't have to pay $12.99 a month. And then if you're a business, this doesn't really matter because your information is already out there. If the phone number and the address you are using is a public address, if it's not your private address or your private phone number, you can leave this unchecked because people already have access to your business address or your phone number anyways. So I'm gonna select this. So once that is done, scroll down here and select this box over here. This is just to confirm that you read and agree to the SiteGround Terms of Service and Privacy Policy. So make sure you read that, of course, and then select this. And here, if you would like to receive news and special offers from SiteGround, then you can select this one as well, but I'm not going to select that. So once that is done, click on Pay Now. You can see that it's loading here. And now you can see that your account was created successfully. So click on Proceed to Customer area to log into your account. So click on this. And now this will be your SiteGround account. And then if you look over here, you can see that you have this notification here. So now it's saying that you need to verify your domain. So to do this, just log into the email address that you used to set up your SiteGround account, the same email address that you entered at the beginning. Log into that email and you'll see an email that SiteGround sent to you. Click on that to verify your account. So I'm going to show you that in a minute. So if you look over here, you can see that I got this email from SiteGround. You can see, please verify your domain name as soon as possible. So you're going to get one of these emails. So scroll down here and click on the link here. And then scroll down at the bottom of this. And then you can see verify information. And then you can see that your SiteGround account has been verified. Now you're good to go. So the next thing we need to do now is to set up your site. So you can click on Setup Site over here to create a new website to install WordPress, or you can migrate existing website. So if you already have a website, you can click on this and migrate the website. So I'm not going to cover that in this tutorial, but I do have another tutorial to show you how to migrate your website. If you want to check that out, I'll leave the link to that video in the description box below. But in this case, we're going to be creating a new website. But just say, so let's say you didn't get this option that said set up a site. All you can do is just go up here under website and click on websites. And now you can see that you have one domain here. So this is, if you want to add another domain to your SiteGround account, this is where you do it. And then you can add another domain over here, but we already have this one, so you can click here on complete, and then we can select new website. And then once we have this selected, if you scroll down here, you can see what you can install. You can install one of these things. You can install one of these WordPress, Weebly, but we're going to be installing WordPress, so select WordPress. And then over here, you want to enter your email address. So this will be your WordPress login. So you can enter your login here. You can enter your email address. So I'm going to use info@wplifestyle.com. You can also create a professional email like this for yourself. Since you're using SiteGround, you get free unlimited email address, so you can create professional email like this using your domain after you set up your website. So once you put that, choose your password. So I'm going to put my password here. Okay, so just make sure you create a strong password. You can see my password is not strong. So if I do this, you can see it will become really strong. So make sure you create a strong password, or you can just easily generate one here. Usually when you generate one, it's like this. Copy it and paste it somewhere because this is really hard to remember. Or you can just create one by yourself. So I'm just going to create one. Okay, so once that is done, you can click on continue. And then over here, they will offer you to get SiteGround scanner again. We don't really need this, so just skip that and click on finish. You can see that SiteGround is creating your site right now. So you can see that your website is completed. But let's say you used a domain that you did not register as SiteGround. This is how you will point it to SiteGround. You copy this name servers and then log into your domain. I do have another tutorial to show you how to do that, so I will leave the link in the description box below. Let's say you just use the existing domain instead of creating a new domain with your SiteGround hosting account. This is how you will point it. But in this case, we'll just click on manage website. Okay, you can see this is your website right here. There's two ways to log into your website. So if you scroll down here, you can log in from here, or you can just go to WordPress and go to install and manage. And then if you scroll down here, you can see your website over here. And if you go over here, if you put your here, this is where you can also delete this website. If you want, you can delete WordPress from here. If you want, if you click on delete application, it's going to delete your WordPress, and then you can start all over if you want. And this is where you can log in as well. So click over here to log into WordPress. And then it's going to ask you if you want to use the SiteGround starter to build your site. Just say no, skip this, because we're going to build this from scratch. Okay, so this is your WordPress dashboard. And if you go over here now and click on view site, you can see your website. So this is what your website looks like. And if you want to learn how to build your website and how to make this beautiful, just keep watching. Okay, now that you've completed step 1 and step 2, let's head over to step 3. And the first thing you need to do is to log into your website. And there's two ways you can do that. You can either log in from your hosting account, or you can just go to your website and log in. So let me show you the first one. So once you log into your SiteGround hosting account, over here you can click on websites. And then if you have multiple websites, you're going to see a list of all the websites here. So in this case, I only have one. So click on Site Tools. And then over here, click on WordPress. Click on Install and Manage. And then under here, you can see Manage Installations. So select the website that you want to log into. So I only have one. So you can just head over here on your right side. You can see this little arrow here that says log into your admin panel. Click on that. That will automatically log into your WordPress dashboard. You can see right here that we're already in the WordPress dashboard. So that's one way you can log into your WordPress website. So let me log out here and then I'll show you the second way. So now you can see that I'm on my website. You can see this is not logged in. So if I refresh this, you can see that it's not logged in. So first thing you need to do, go to your website address. So in this case, mine is my website 11.com. So go to your domain, whatever.com, your name, your business name.com, and type /wp-admin. Okay, so basically your domain name.com /wp-admin. Click on that, and that will bring you to your login dashboard here. So you can put in your username or your email address. So in this case, I'm going to use my email address. So this will be the email address and the password that you entered inside your SiteGround account when you were trying to install WordPress. So if you remember, my email address was info@wplifestyle.com, and then I'm going to put in my password here. Okay, so you can see that we are logged in here, and this is the two ways you can log into your website. Okay, now that we are logged in, so let's go back to our guide to see what we need to do next. So the next thing we need to do is to change password. You don't really have to change your password, but I'm just going to show you how to do this just in case you need to change your password. So there's two ways you can do that. So you can either go from here and click on edit profile, or you can just go to users and click all users, right? And you can see all the users on your website. So if you have someone else on your website, this is where you edit their password, their login details. So if you click on edit here, that will bring you to this page right here. If I go back and go over here and click edit profile, it will bring you to the same page. So this is where you make changes. If you see over here, you can see that it's showing my email address. So let's say I want to change my display name over here. So this is where you type your display name. So if I put my name here and display name over here, you can select my name. So now you can see that my name here is Steven instead of showing my email address, right? So you can just change this to your name. And then you can change your email address here if you want. And then under account management here, so this is where you can generate a new password. So you can change your password here. You can just generate a new password, or you can just use the existing password. So I'm not actually going to change my password. I'm just showing you guys how you can do this. So I'm going to cancel this. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to change permalinks, right? So if you go back on your website, if I click on this sample page, you can see here that we have your domain name / 2020-0815 sample. So you don't want all this. We only want this sample here. So we only want the page there. So if you're on home page, it's supposed to be your domain name / home, or about page is supposed to be your domain name / about. But here you can see that we have all this junk here that we don't need. So you can change that by going to your dashboard and go to settings and click on permalink over here. So permalinks. And here you can see all the settings that we have. So you can do a custom setting here if you want, or you can just select the post name. So this is the one that we need. You want to make sure it's on post name. If it's already on post name, you can just leave that and click save. So if I come back here and refresh this page, go to sample page, you can see over here that we only have the sample page. We don't have all those year and date anymore. So we just have the sample page. You just want to keep things simple, right? Now let's go back here and see what we need to do next is to delete pages and delete plugins. So let's go back to your website. And if we click on pages here, you can see that we have this sample page and privacy policy page that is already installed for us that we don't really need. So you can select this and just trash it. Or you can just basically select everything and choose bulk action. And here you can say move to trash. And then you can apply that. So you can see that everything is moved to trash. So you want to go to trash and select all of them again and select delete permanently, right? And then apply. You can see that we don't have any pages anymore. So because we want to grade everything by ourselves. Now let's go and delete plugins, right? So you can see here that we have these plugins here that we don't really need. So before you delete a plugin, you need to deactivate the plugin first. So plugins are basically like an app for your website, just like you have apps for your phone, that apps that will add extra functionality to your phone. This is what plugins are like. So you can add these plugins to your website. So let's say maybe you want to add a contact form, or maybe you want to add Instagram feed. So you can add these plugins to your website to make your website function better. So we have these plugins here. So we're just going to delete this one. We're going to need this one later. So, but we're just going to deactivate it for now. And now we can just delete this plugin. Click on delete here to delete it, or you can just do the same over here and apply bulk action. But I just want to delete this one. So I'm going to hit the delete button here. It's going to ask you, are you sure you want to delete? Say yes. And here you can see that you have an update here. So you can just update that if you want. This is how you update your plugins. You can see that is updated already. And the next thing we need to do is to install a theme. So to build a WordPress website, you need a theme, right? So right now we are using this. If we go to appearance, you can see the theme, go to themes. You can see that the theme that we have here right now is the 2020 theme. And we don't really need that. We're just going to add a new theme, right? So click on new. Then you're going to get a lot of free themes. There's lots of themes here. There's hundreds of themes. But the one that we're going to be using today is called the Astra theme. You can see all these themes are pretty good themes, especially Ocean WP, Hello theme, the Nav theme. So all these themes are pretty good. But the one we're going to be using today is the Astra theme. So just type Astra. So you can see the Astra theme over here. So click install and activate. Okay, now that you can see the extra theme is activated, so I like to keep things clean. So all these themes here that we don't really need, let's go ahead and delete them. Just click on the theme and scroll down here. You can see delete right here on the right corner. Click on delete right here. Okay. And do the same here. Click on delete, click OK. Do the same here, delete and click OK. So this is the only thing that we need. You can see that we have just this theme right now. Okay. So if we go back to our website and refresh, you can see that our website already look different. So the themes actually change the functionality and the look of your website. So you can see that our website is already looking different from the one we had before, right? Okay, now so the next thing we need to do is to install plugins. So like I said before, plugins add extra functionalities to your website. So if you go back here on your dashboard and if you scroll down here, you can see plugins. You can see that we only have this plugin on our website. So you can go to add new over here to add a new plugin. So we have lots of plugins here that you can add. So the problem is if you're new to WordPress and you have no idea which plugins that you need for your website, that might be a little bit challenging. If you are completely new to WordPress, you've never built a website before and you have no idea what these plugins do and what they're used for. So you don't want to add unnecessary plugins to your website, right? Because it's going to slow your website down. So this is where the Astra theme is going to help you a little bit to decide which plugins you might need for your website. I'm going to explain that a little bit later. But for now, just to show you how to install the plugins. So let's install Elementor Page Builder because we're going to be using it in this tutorial anyway. So let's just click install and we can go ahead and activate that. Okay, so that they were trying to give you a guide and I thought just ignore that, don't worry. I'm going to show you how to do everything step by step. So close this. Okay, so now if we go back to plugins, you can see that we have Elementor installed over here. So the next thing we need to do is to change your title and tagline. So basically your title and tagline is, if you go back here, you can see your title is my WordPress and your tagline is just another WordPress site. Okay, so you want to change that. You can just click on customize here if you want, or you can just go to your dashboard and click on appearance, click on customize. So they're basically the same. You can click on this or you can just click on customize over here. So and once you're on this page, you can go ahead and click on headers and then site identity. And then if you scroll down here, you can see your site title here. So you want to change this to whatever your site is about. So let's say it's a portfolio or it's for a business, maybe it's for a web design business. You can just say affordable web development or whatever it is that you're doing. So in this case, I'm just showing you guys, I'm just going to say WordPress tutorial. But you can choose to disable the site title and tagline as well. If you want, you can just disable that from here. If you don't want to show it, just to show you can now that the title said WordPress tutorial instead of my WordPress. And then my tagline will be something like build an amazing website without coding. So if I publish that and if I go back here and refresh this page, now you can see that my title and tagline have changed to WordPress tutorial, build an amazing website without coding. So that's how you do that. And then the next thing we need to do is to add pages. Okay. So now if you go to your website, you can see that we don't have any pages, right? You can see that your website is completely blank. So you don't have a home page, about page, service page. So whatever it is that you want to, whichever page you want to add, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay. So go back to your dashboard and then over here, you can see pages, click on pages. You can see here we have no pages at all. So you want to click on add new and here give your page a title. So let's say we are doing a homepage, so you can just type homepage there and publish. Okay, so we have our homepage. You can just go back here and add another page. So maybe we'll call this one about and publish. So let's add another one. So maybe we'll call this services, publish. Yeah, let's add one more. So maybe let's call this contact, publish. So let's go back to dashboard. Now you can see that we have 4 pages here. But if you go to your website and refresh this, you can see that we have the pages here as well. They're just in a random order, right? They're not organized. And so let's go ahead and grade our menu. So the next thing we need to do is to grade your menu. So Let's go back to your dashboard. So we go to appearance and then we go to menus. You see over here that we have no menu. So let's create main menu. We're going to name this main menu. So create the menu. Now you can see that we have the menu, right? So let's assign pages to the menu. So let me select all the pages here. And you can click on add to menu. Okay, so we have all the pages on the menu. So you can rearrange this the way you want it. You can see right now that we have about us first, we have the contact, we have home, we have services. So maybe you want to have the home first, then have like about, and then have services, and then have like the contact last. So this is how you will do it. And then over here, make sure you select the primary menu. So this is going to be our primary menu. So we're going to select the primary menu and click save menu. Now, if we go back here and refresh this page, you can see that we have the menu in the order that we added them, right? And then how to add a drop down. So let's say you have a lot of services and you want to have all that under these services, right? So let's assume that this contact page is one of the services that you provide. So you can put that under the services, right? You can indent it. So instead of being on the same line, you can indent it a little bit. Now that will be under the services as a drop down. If I save this and go back here and refresh this page, you can see that we have 3. But if you put your mouse on this arrow here, you can see the contact is under the services, right? So this is how you add it. Let's add the about us under the services as well. So let's save that, refresh this page. And now you can see that we have both contact and about us under here. That's just me showing you how to do this. So just in case if you want to do something like this, now I'm going to change this back to like this. Okay, I'm going to move this back up here and I'm going to change this back like this. Okay, so if I save this, go back here and refresh, you can see that we don't have the drop down anymore. Okay, so this is how you create your menu. And then the next thing we need to do here is your SSL certificate. So if you go over here, you can see that your website is not secure. And you don't want that, because if people go on your website and your website is not secure, they're not going to feel comfortable browsing on your website. They're going to feel like their information will be exposed and people will steal their information or something. So make sure you have this SSL certificate activated, right? Diagram already give you this for free. So let me show you how you can activate this, okay? Just to add that padlock that you see here on your own website, right? So you can say that your connection is secure. Okay, so now log back into your SiteGround account. Click on websites, click on site tools. Okay. Now go to security and SSL manager. As you can see here, you have no SSL installed. So if you have multiple websites, just select the website that you want to install the SSL on. You can see that my website is selected here, which is my domain here over. So click on this drop down arrow and select let's encrypt. Click on get. Okay, you can see that your request is being processed. Okay, you can see that your SSL certificate is completed. So now, if you go back to your website and refresh, you can see that your website is still not secured. So go back to your SiteGround account and then over here on the same screen under SSL manager, over here you can see your let's encrypt, and then click on these 3 dots right here that say actions, and then you want to enforce HTTPS. Okay, click enforce. Okay, now that you can see that that was successful. And then if you go back here on your website and refresh now, you click on the key, you can now see that your connection is secure. So that's how you add SSL to your website. If you're using SiteGround, it's that easy. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is to add your logo and favicon. Okay. So your favicon is basically, here you can see the SiteGround logo right here, and here you can see your own is still have WordPress. So you want to change that. If you already have a logo and favicon, you can change that. But if you don't have a logo or favicon, I'm going to show you how to design that yourself this tutorial. Okay, so we're going to skip that for now. So let's go back to your website here. Okay, so this is what your website looks like right now. Okay, so basically we can go ahead and start building your website right now. But you can build a house without getting all the materials necessary for building the house ready, right? So we have nothing ready, so you can't really start building your website. Before we start building your website, let's go and do a little bit of branding. So if you go over here, you can see that the step 4 is branding, right? So that's the next thing we need to do. Like I said, you can click on the link in the description box below to get the Milanote as well. And then you can use the board that I've created for you to follow along with this tutorial. So if you're using this board, go ahead and click on home. And you can see that I've created a separate board for branding. So if you double click on this, you can see what I've put together for you to help you get started. So this will actually make the whole branding process easy for you if you follow this step by step. So before we get started, I just want to mention that I'm not going to cover the entire branding process in this video because it's just going to make this video way too long if I do that. So I've decided to do a quick overview of how branding works so that it will help you get started, and I've put a lot of stuff together for you to help you get started with your branding. If you follow this step by step, by the end of this video, you are going to end up with a beautiful brand that will make your business stand out from your competitors. So the first thing I want to mention is to clear up the biggest misconception when it comes to branding. A lot of people think that branding is just your website or your logo, but that's not entirely true because your logo is just part of the branding. There's a lot more when it comes to branding. There's a lot more happening. There's a lot of stuff going on when it comes to branding. So your branding is basically a way of identifying your business. This is how your customers will recognize you, and this is how they will experience whichever service that you're offering, whatever your business is. This is how they will experience it. So to make this very easy to follow, especially if this is your first time creating a brand or building a website, I've created a 7 different steps for you to follow. If you follow this step by step from step 1 to 7, by the end of this section, you will be able to create a beautiful brand that will make your business stand out from your competitors. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing you need to do is over here, you can see that I have these 7 steps here. So double click on it to open it. You can see that we have it open here, and you can see all the steps that I've created for you. The first thing you need to do when trying to create a brand for your business is to establish a clear purpose and positioning. So what that means is, think about your business goal and list at least 3 words that will describe your business. So basically, what you are doing is asking yourself, what is the purpose of this business? Why am I starting this business? What is the reason for your existence? Like, who are you creating the business for? You know, the biggest mistake that people make is that when they're building a business, they're thinking about themselves. You're supposed to be thinking about the people. The business is not for you because you're trying to reach a specific audience. So you're supposed to be thinking about that audience, okay? So that is actually your positioning. You're supposed to ask yourself, who is this business for? And why is it better than the competitors? And why should people invest in your business? And why should people pay attention to whatever you are doing? And why should people buy your services? So these are the things that you need to think about. So step 2 will be researching. So conducting a research before you start a business or create a brand is very, very important because this will help you to determine your main customer personnel, right? This is going to help you to determine who the business is for and who you are creating it for. Who is your target audience? What is their age? What is their gender? What is their location? What is their marriage status? What is their monthly or yearly income? Is your business too expensive for this audience? Are they going to be able to afford it? So this is all the things that you need to put into consideration when you are creating a brand. And then step 3 will be determining your personality, right? So ask yourself, if your business were a person, what will it be like? So brand personality has a huge impact when it comes to the voice and tone of your business, especially when it comes to the visual aspect of your marketing materials, because your personality have to say something about your business. So this is very, very important because you are trying to connect with people with the same personality. So people with the same personality, the same trait, they will connect to your business easily if they feel like they are connected to your business somehow, that the business represent them or what they are looking for. So a good way to do this is to look for other companies that have the same personalities that you are going for and see what is working for them and what is not working for them. And you can see here, step 4 is just basically creating a mood board. So one of the most important things when it comes to creating your brand is to look for inspiration. So look at other websites, look at other businesses and see that is similar to what you're trying to do and see what they're doing. You can find inspirations. So the good way to do this, if you go out of here, I've put together some things for you to help you get this done. So if you exit out of here and go to home, you see this page that I have here that said preparation. So open this board, and then over here you can see that I've created this board here for you, but I have nothing inside. So it's because I was going to use it to show you as an example. So since we're already using Milanote, right? So you can just add this Milanote web clipper to your Chrome extension. This will help you to save images to your board. Okay, so if you click on this link here, this will actually take you to the Chrome web store. So yours will show add. So just add that to your Chrome extension. Once you do that, and then come back here, you can go to any of this website, or maybe you can even go to, okay, if we go to this website right here, you can see how these images were taken. So let's say you like what these images looks like, right? So you can actually add this to your board just for an inspiration, for something you can show your photographer, like something you can show your client if you are building a website for your client, to see if they will like something like this. So this will actually give you an inspiration or what to do. So to do this, you can just simply save, click on save, because once you add the extension, you have this option here asking you to save stuff to your board, right? So if you click on this save, and now it's going to ask you where you want to save. You can actually select any of these boards that you've created, but I'm going to save this to preparation. Just click on save to preparation. Now if we go back here, you can see that we have that here. I can just easily drag that, put it where I want it. Yeah, I can expand that like this if you want to see. So this is what it looks like. And then you can go to any of this website that I have over here, find images. These are just free websites to find images. So let's say you're creating a website for beauty. So if we select photos here, and if we put beauty here, you can see all these images here. So maybe let's say you like this image, you can just add this to your board, and you can scroll down. Maybe you like this, and then you can save this to your board as well. Okay, now that we've selected all of this, you go back here, you can see that we have nothing. So you want to make sure that you click on save to preparation. So once you click that, that will actually add everything here. So you can actually drag it out and just put them together here. Yes, so this is basically how you can create a beautiful board just for inspiration, something that you can send to your photographer, something that you can show to your client if you're building for a client. So once you've done that and you're done collecting all the inspiration that you want for your branding, and then you can go back to branding over here, and then you can double click on 7 steps to creating your brand. So let's go to step 5. So step 5 is creating your beautiful color palette, and this is something that you can actually create based on the mood board that you collected. So you can look at those and be like, oh, I like this color, and then you can actually use those color for your brand. So one tip that I want to give you about color is to keep your color simple with 1 to 3 primary colors, and then you can select some secondary colors to support that color, just to keep everything beautiful and attractive. If you exit out of here and go here, you can see that I have a lot of color tips for you here. So something that you can click on and to create your color palette. So if you go to these brand colors over here, you can see this will actually show you the colors that all these brands are using. You can see here Google colors, for example. If you click on that, you can see all the colors that they're using over here. You can see the colors that they're using. So if you like any of this color, you can go ahead and use the same color as well. Or if you go to like Amazon, you can see the color they're using the orange and black. And then if you go to Airbnb, you can see all the colors that they're using over here. So this is somewhere you can come and see what color popular brand are using, and see if it's color that work for you or something that you can use for your business as well. And then another one I want to show you is the baby color wheel, right? So this is good if you want to come here and you can spin the wheel to actually select a color. Maybe you're going for a blue color, you can actually do this. You can copy the hex code here for the color, or maybe you're going for yellow or green. Before you actually pick a color, you need to think about which colors that are going to be good for your brand, which color is going to connect with your audience, like the people that you're targeting, like your user personnel. So which color is going to connect with them. So to determine that, you can actually, remember when I said you should think about your brand attributes, so you can actually use that to determine what color So let's say one of your brand attributes is like authority or simple or maybe approachable. You can actually use that to determine which colors to go for. So if you scroll down here and click on this link here that I have for you, you click on this link. So I just want to mention that I'm not a color expert. I'm just giving you this as an example, something that you can follow, something that will help you to create a beautiful color palette for your brand. That's why you have to come to this page and read this for yourself. So if you can actually come here, you can see what these colors means. You can see these red colors, what they mean, the site, like the emotion that are attached to it. You can see excitement, energy, passion, courage, attention, and you can see the industry that use this color. So if you're in one of this industry, maybe you like this color, you can actually use it. If you scroll down to orange, the same thing. You can see all these colors. You can come here, the pink, come and see the industry that uses it is for children, women, beauty, fashion. So depending on what you're going for, this is what you come. This is if you are going for authority or security, you might want to consider blue color or the green color here for in the banking industry or real estate or non-profit. So you can come here and look at all these colors. There's a lot of them you can look at and see which one is going to be good for your brand and the audience that you're trying to connect with. And then once you've decided which colors to go for, and you can actually go and look for this color, then you can go to Adobe Wheel to see which colors that you're looking for. Another thing that I do sometimes is to go to click on the trends here, and then once you open that, you will actually see some colors here that you might actually like. So here you can see all these images here. So if you click any of them, you put your mouse over it, you can see all the colors that they use. You can, or if you like any of this color, or you can even click on it and copy the colors if you want. You can copy the colors and go back to your Milanote and just add the colors here, just like I have these ones over here. You can see how I have these colors here, and then you can copy this and use it on your website, logo design, or anything that you're doing. Because once you determine your brand colors, you're going to be using these colors consistently so that everything that you're doing, your business, your website, everything will stay consistent, right? And then another way of doing this, another color tips that I have for you is to add this Chrome extension called the color picker, right? So if you click on this, you can add this to your Chrome browser. I already have this on my browser. Let me close this and show you how it works. So let's say you go to this website and you really like this color and they use here, but you don't know what color this is, and you want to use the color. So what you do, you can see that I have the color picker over here. What you do is to click on the color picker, and then you can come here and select the color. So this will actually create the S code for you and also the RGB code for you. So you can just copy this. Then I go back here and add this color here, click enter, and you can see that we have the same color that we have here, right? So this is how you can get any color that you want. So if you see a color that you really like that you want to use, this is how you can get the color. And that's pretty much all the color tips that I have for you. So the next thing we're going to look at is step 6, which is choosing your fonts. So choosing a professional typography is very, very important. So one tip that I want to give you when it comes to fonts, don't get too fancy or mix up more than 2 fonts together. But you can mix serif and sans serif fonts together, just keep things interesting. Okay, so if you exit out of these steps and go back here, you can see that I've created this for you over here. You can see. Again, let me just mention that I'm not a typography expert. I just want to give you like something basic, something that you can use as a base to choose a professional font for your business. So if you look over here, you can see that we have 2 types of fonts, so sans serif and the serif fonts. The only major difference between these fonts are, you can see that these ones are clean, they are plain and simple. And you can see this one, they have curves. Over here, you can see that they have curves at like the T, they have curves over here and they're thick and they have the thin strokes. Okay, so these are basically if you're going for something modern, simple, something that is approachable and clean, you want to go with sans serif. And if you're going for something traditional, maybe you go with sans serif. And then again, sometimes you want to mix both of them together. So a good one to start with is Google Fonts because they're free. Obviously, you don't want to pay for fonts, especially when you are starting out, but you can do that if you have the money. But it's like most things that you're going to be using already have Google Fonts integrated inside, so that will make your life a little bit easier. You don't need to know how to upload the fonts to your website, so you can just use fonts that is already there. So I already have the link for you here. If you click on this link, this will take you to Google Fonts here. So you can click the categories and see. If we go with just serif fonts, you can see all the serif fonts, or maybe you just want to go with sans serif fonts. Maybe if we type something like creative here, you can see what the fonts looks like. So you can see the fonts in action. You can see all the fonts here. So if we go here, maybe we can remove this, give only serif fonts, and we can see the fonts that we have. You can scroll down and see if you like any of these fonts. This is something that will connect with your audience. Okay, once you have figured out which fonts that you want to go with, you can go ahead and put that fonts down. If you go back to Milanote here, you can see that I've listed some fonts that I use very often, that most people use very often when it comes to sans serif fonts. You can see that we have the Open Sans, we have Roberto, we have Lato, and we have Montserrat. And then over here on the serif, we have the Laura, we have the PT serif, we have the Playfair Display, and Roberto Slap. Okay, so this is the fonts that I recommend, but you can go ahead and choose whichever fonts that you want, of course. And then once that is done, you can go back to the steps that we have here, and you can see that the next step that we have here, now you've chosen your typography. The next step that we have here is to create a beautiful, polished, simple logo. This is very, very important because you want to make sure that your logo is very simple, something that is memorable, something that people will be able to remember when they see it, and they'll be like, oh, this is this logo, this is what it stands for. For example, take Nike logo, for example. If anywhere you see a Nike logo, you're going to be like, okay, there's a Nike logo, I recognize that. If you see it on a t-shirt, you'll be like, oh, that's a Nike product, you recognize it right away. Okay, so let me give you a few other examples here. So let's say if you go back here, if you look at Microsoft logo, you can see that they just have an icon and a Microsoft. And if you look at Slack, you can see that they have their icon and they just have Slack as a text. So that is very simple, very easy to remember. If you look at Apple, they just have the icon here. They just have the Apple. Anywhere you see this, if you see it on a TV, on a car, maybe Apple car, why not? So, and the same thing with Samsung, they just have the word Samsung here. Anyone that see this will just know, okay, that's Samsung. Very simple. And then if you go to this Kelly skin, you can see that it's just the type font. There's no icon, no nothing. Okay. And then paper, you can see that they have the 2P over here, and then they have the paper on the side. So it's just very simple so far, right? So let's go and create your logo and keep it simple as well. So all you need to do now is to click back. So over here, I have these links. So this is somewhere you can go and find icons. So the icon finder, if you click on the link, it will bring you to this page right here. You can pretty much search for any icon. Let's say you search for Facebook, for example. You can see all the Facebook icons here. And then you can go ahead and click on these free icons only. That will show you only the free icons. You can go ahead and click on it and select the size that you want, and then you can click download. And then if we go back here, we have Photopea. So Photopea is basically like online Photoshop. If you look over here, you can see that you have all the tools that you have inside Photoshop. So if you want to use this, you can go ahead and use this, but I'm not going to be using it in this tutorial because it's just going to make this so long. So I'm going to use something very simple, something easy that everybody can understand. So we're going to be using this online vector editor. So it's a little bit easy to understand compared to Photopea, because this looks a little bit more like Illustrator, but like with less tools and less complicated stuff. So we're going to use this to create your logo. So let's go ahead and log in. Okay, once you're here, you can go ahead and start using this online, or you can create an account to log in. So just keep in mind that anything that you create online without logging into your account, once you close the browser, all the files will be gone. You won't be able to recover them. But if you want to keep your file, you want to go back and make changes later or something, make sure you create an account and log in. So it's completely free to create an account. You don't need to pay anything. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to use the online version. Okay, click on online. Okay, so once it opens, you land on this page right here. You can see here that we have the layers. So everything that you add, so if you add something here, you can see you have something in the layer panel. So this is where you can hide it, you can see, or you can just lock it. So this is your layer. This is where you see everything you are doing. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And then here you have the rectangle, you have rounded rectangle, and then you have circle, and then you have the pen tool, you have the pencil tool, you have text, then you have, this is the option to upload your own image. And then here you have more shapes. I know the tools are limited. It's not like Photopea, like Photoshop. Like if you go over here on Photopea, you can see like you get all these tools here. You don't really need all these to create a beautiful logo for your website. So this is all that we're going to need. And then over here, you can see snapping and grid. So you can go ahead and turn this on. The grid, you can see that we have the grid over there. And then this is where you create a new file and then export. And this is file setting. You can go ahead and set whether you want to use pixel, points, centimeters, inches, feet. Okay, so I like to keep things on pixels, so I'll leave it on pixels here. Okay, so once that is done, you decide what your icon is going to be. So you can create an icon by yourself. Icons are pretty much combination of shapes. So the first thing we're going to create is your icon. You don't really need an icon. You can just use your name. Just like here, you can see over here that Kelly Skin is just using the name Kelly Skin as their logo. And then Samsung is doing the same thing. But if you want your logo to look like this, just like Microsoft, you can go ahead and create the icon. And then you can put the name of your business as the name beside your icon. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You just do something that is going to match your brand. Okay, my website is currently mywebsite111.com. So I want to use that, my website, as my business name. So I'm just going to create an icon with MW. That's what I'm going to do. So like I said, icons are basically a combination of shapes. Okay, if you go here, you can see the Microsoft icon is just 4 squares with different colors. You can see with a little bit space in between. That is the icon. So you can go ahead and create your own icon, whatever you want it to be. So let me go ahead and start creating my own icon, and then you can see what I mean. So what you need to do is that when you are drawing any shape, once you click on the shape, hold the shift key so that it can draw proportionally, right? And then if you want to scale it as well, you can do this. So you want to make sure that you hold shift when you are scaling or just making it smaller. If you are scaling it, hold shift so everything can scale proportionally, so that everything looks nice and smooth. Okay, so let's say I draw this circle here, and if I go here and pick one of these shapes, and maybe I put this, I draw this one too, and then if I put this in here, then maybe I make it a little bit small. If I put it in here, and then I can go here and make this maybe black, and I can make this white. Yeah, so we have an icon. You can see this is basically how you create an icon. This is just an example. So I'm just going to create MW for my website so that you guys can see what I mean. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to draw a triangle. I'm going to hold shift. Then I'm going to draw this. So I have this. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate it again. So if I move this around here like this, then I'm going to do this like this as well. Bring it closer. The reason why I use grid, just to make sure like everything is the same. You can see I'm using this grid here. Let's use this line here, this grid line here. We have that. And then we can use this one as well. That's perfect. And then next one, we want to make sure is on this so that everything is exactly the same. So you can see here, basically I just want to use shapes to create a W. Basically here you can see that I already have a W here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to select all of them at the same time. Then I'm going to group it together. And then another way to select all of them is to hold shift, go to your layers over here, and then you can select the layers that you want. So this is all the layers. I selected all of them. And then I'm going to right click and group it together. Now they're all in one group over here, you can see. And then if I click over here, you can see the groups there. And then you can rename the group if you want. You can see here I have a W there. And then another thing you can do is if you lock this layer, then you won't be able to move it around. You can see that I locked it with this key here. and then you can unlock that to move it again. And then if you click on the eye there, the layer will just disappear. So now that I have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the entire layer. Okay, so I have 2 now. Then I'm going to flip this one around. So if I put my mouse over here, flip, right? Now you can see that I have that M shape there and W shape. So I'm going to go over here and actually put these 2 together like this. Now you can see that I have MW in the white space here. I don't know if you can see that. You can see that I have MW there. So what I'm going to do now is to select the first group, this group here, and then I'm going to ungroup them. Now that all this is ungrouped, I'm going to hold Shift, select everything that was in the group. And then once you have everything selected, on top you get new options here. So all these options here, subtract, intersect, all this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add. So I'm going to make them 1. Right now you can see they become 1, right? So you can go ahead and do the same with this, or you can just duplicate this one, save yourself some time, and then flip it again. And then this one we probably don't need again. And then now we have this one. So if you look, if you put it like this, this is like WM. So I want the M for my website. So I'm going to move it like this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this one a different color. Okay, so I'm going to give this maybe blue. And then I'm going to make this one a little bit transparent so you can see through. Okay, there you go. Now, what I want to do is to grade the MW. So to grade the MW, you can see here, I have this like this. So I'm going to put that on top of this so you can see the M and the W at the same time, right? So you can see that. So what you're looking at is this inside one here. This is where I'm going to use. So I'm going to select all of them. Now, what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to intersect. Okay. Once I intersect, I'm going to get this. Okay. So now we have this. There you go. So this is my MW. All right. Something else I can do is to just make this a little big like this. That's my MW. Okay. I don't know if you can see the M and W together. Now you can see the M, right? Now you can see the W. There you go. So you see it, right? So I'm going to delete this. This is going to be my icon. I'm going to make this smaller. Then I'm going to add a text. Then I'm going to say my website. Then I'm going to use this to make it bigger. So what else you can do is I want this my to be different color and then website to be a different color. So what I'll do, I'll just duplicate this and then I will just remove this. Then here, I will just erase the website like that. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it here. So now you can go ahead and give this one a different color that you want. Also, you can use your brand color if you want. Here we have our brand color here. So what you can do, you can copy this and then go back here. Then you can just over here, if you click on this, select the color, and here you can just paste your brand color there and click enter. There you go. You can see that we have the color right here. So this is how you can change the color. Then I'm going to go ahead and change this one to a different color. Maybe change it to blue. Paste there. Okay, now we have it. And then this one, maybe you want this one to be the same blue. We're going to go here and change blue. So now we have it. So what else you can do is, for example, I'm going to select these 2 texts. Okay, 2 of them. I'm going to move them away from here. And then I'm going to maybe I'm going to put this inside the circle. Remember to hold down Shift when you draw this. And then you can see the icon is behind the circle, so I want it to be inside the circle. Click on send back. We're going to change this to black maybe. So that's looking a lot better. Okay, so you can go ahead and highlight this together. That way you can scale this together. You can make it smaller like this. So if you want this icon here to be just transparent, so that anywhere you put it on, that will become the background. It's not just going to be blue. What you do, you select the circle and this together. So I'm going to select the icon and I'm going to select the circle. So both of them selected together, you get these options here. So what you want to do is to subtract. So once you subtract this, now they are both the same. But what happens now is if I draw this here, then once I put this here, I'm going to bring this to the front. Once I put this here, you can see that becomes the background for the icon inside the circle. So that's transparent. We change this to different color. You can see the color changes. We change this to white, that becomes white. You change it to green, becomes green. So this is pretty much how you can create your icon. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and export this. So you don't really need to export it with the circle, or you can just export the icon, just the icon like that. You can just export just the icon, but I'm just going to export it with the circle because why not? And then I'm going to put this here. Then I'm going to bring these two here. And then I'm going to group them together. Then I'll bring them here. So now that we have this like this, what I can do, I can change this to blue, to the same blue that we have here. Instead of going back here to copy this blue, what you can do, you can just use the eyedropper here, select that, and then you can select this blue here. Now that becomes the same blue. Okay, so that's basically how you can do it. You can see that we have the line there. If you don't like the line, or if you want it a little bit thick, you can do this. Yeah, so it will have like the line like this. Okay, so I don't want the line there, so I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, so now we don't have any line. So that's our logo. All you can do now is you can go ahead and select this logo. Okay, we select this like this, and then we go export. And then here you can see our logo, what it looks like. And here, I want to export only the selection. I don't want all this background. So I'm going to export only the logo, okay? But you want to make sure you download the PNG. So that's what we're going to need for the website. So make sure you select the PNG, not SVG. So select PNG and click download. Now we have the PNG version over here. Now let's go back. So what I'm going to do again is to change everything to white so that I can use a white version of it on a different background. So I'm going to change this to, because you're not going to see it once I change it to white. I'm going to change all of this to white. Now going to just select here because I know they're there. You can see we then selected. Then I'm going to export PNG, the white version like this. I'm going to export that again. So click download. Now that we have two versions, then I'm going to go back. Now I'm going to give them color again. Okay. So if you go over here, you can see all this website, they have all these icons here. So you want to make sure you have your own icon as well, so that your website will look more professional. So what I want you to do now is to select only the icon, and then you can go to export again. And then here, the icon has to be exactly 512 by 512 pixels. So you want to change this to change the width and the height to 512 by 512. So once you change it, you will get this right here. So we can go ahead and export that. So click on download. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is to make sure that you get all the images and illustrations that you're going to need for your website ready. So if you click on these images and illustration here, you can see some tools that are put together to help you get started. So there's two ways to do this. You can either take your own images, or you can go to any of this website here to get free stock images. Let's go to Pixabay for example. So once you're here, you can search for the type of image that you're looking for. So let's say we are looking for beauty images. You can easily type beauty here and then you can click enter. And here you can see that we have all these images here. You can scroll down and see if you can find anything that you like. So maybe you like this one right here, for example. You can click on it and then you can see free download here, and you can also see that this image is free for commercial use. So you can go ahead and click on download, and then you can choose the size that you want. You can go for any of this size here. I'm just going to download this 246 kilobyte. I'm going to click on download, and then you're going to confirm that you're not a robot. Okay, so you can see that the image I've downloaded here. So this is pretty much how you can go and download any type of image that you want. And then you can also go to any of this website, the Pixels and Unsplash. You can go here and search for the same type of image as well. And then once you have all your images ready to go, so make sure that you optimize the images and reduce the file size before you actually upload it on your website. So a very good way to do that is to use this website called tinypng.com. This website will help you to compress your image and reduce the file size. So if you go here, for example, if we drag this image that we downloaded here, if we drag it over here, so this is the original file size, and then you can see that TinyPNG have saved you 33%, and now this is your new file size. You can go ahead and download that new file size by clicking on download, and then you can see that the image just downloaded here, and this is the one that you want to use on your website. So this is how you can go ahead and optimize all the images that you need for your website. Okay, so once you do that, and then all your images are ready to go, and then the next thing you need to do is to get illustrations. So if you need illustration for your website, you don't really need to do this, but if you need illustrations, you can go to this website here called Undraw. This website right here is a free website where you can go and get free illustrations. You can come here and search for the type of illustration that you want for your website, and then you can also change the color of these illustrations to match your brand color. So let's say that you're looking for something green, you can change these colors. You can change this to yellow. You can actually copy your brand color. You can get the hex code and then you can put it right here and paste that color right here. And once you have that ready to go, and then you can click on download, you can find the one that you want, and then you can click on download SUV for project, or you can just download PNG for your website and blog posts and social medias. And then another one is this icon finder. And then if you need icons for your website, you can also do the same here. You can come here and look for the type of icon that you're looking for. Let's say you're looking for Facebook icon, you can come here and then you can find all the Facebook icons here, and make sure that you click on free only so that you get only the free ones. And you can see everything here is completely free. You can go ahead and click on it, and then you can download pretty much any one that you want. You can change the size like this, and then you can download the PNG version of the icon. So this is pretty much how you get your images and icons and illustration ready for your website. So you need to get your content ready before you start designing, so you know what it is that you have to put on the pages, and your layout as well. You need to know what your layout will look like before you can actually start building your website, because if you don't know the layout, you're going to spend so much time figuring it out. Usually I use Adobe SD. Adobe SD is free. I use it to create like a layout of the website, see what it's going to look like before I start creating. So if you go back here to preparation, you can see a layout that I did on Adobe SD here. So if I move this over, you can see this layout that I have here. So this is basically, you can see that we have the site logo here, we have home and about, services, and then we have the contacts page. That's for the menu. And then we have like a big section here. Then we have a background image, we have heading, we have text, and then we have button. And we have another section here. You can see how I arrange this. So you can create something like that. It's very easy to do. Every website you visit is just a series of sections, and inside those sections there is columns, and inside the columns there's elements. So let's go to another website for example. So if we go to this Disney website, for example, you can see here that we have one section here, and then inside this column here, the left one here, we have an image, which is this here, which you can actually save. You can see that is an image. And then inside the other column, we have heading, which is this, and then we have text. So basically the same thing here. You come back here, we have another section, but on the right side here, they have this image. and then inside they have heading and text. Okay, so you can see that's basically how this website goes. This is something that you can do as well. You don't really need any fancy program. Adobe ST is free. You can go ahead and download that if you want, or you can even use this online too. This Figma, you can use this as well. I use this online too sometimes. Okay, so let's say for example, if you look at this website now, you can see that they have menu over here. Just like I created this one, you have your menu, you add everything that you want to add in your menu, whatever you want to add. You can see here they have personal, they have business, they have send, they have request, they have all this, and they have these sign up buttons here, and they have their logo here. So let's say you want to do something similar, so you can actually sketch that out. That will actually help you to get to work faster. So I'll choose pencil here, and this is going to be rough because I'm using my mouse to sketch this out. So it doesn't have to be fancy, just something that will help you. So we just sketch the menu out here, for example, like this. And this is the menu. And then here we have your logo here. So this doesn't have to be too fancy. And then here we have your home. And then maybe here you have your about page and services, contact. Then over here, maybe you have like a call to action button. Okay, that's your menu. And then if we go back here, you can see that they have like a whole big section here. So this is a section, like I said, inside every section there's a column. So let's say for your own, you want like that big section here. So if we draw like a really big section here, like this, okay, so if we draw this big section here, okay, that's the big section. Maybe if you want it to be like this, so you only just have to have this text here and then have a button. Or maybe inside your own, you want to have like a video here, for example. Then you have like a small video, and you have like that play button here to play the video. And then over here, maybe you have some text, maybe some explanation. Then you have a heading here to be your heading. And then you have some text. So this is like a bunch of text over here. You have this text. And then you have a button here. Okay, so that will be your section. And then maybe that's your first section. As you can see, this is the first section here. It doesn't really have to come from one website. You can go to a different website. So maybe you go to Elementor website and you really like this design that they have here. Maybe you like how these sections are, and then you can create something like that and add it to your section as well. So you can create that another section like this. And this is the section, and then inside the section you have 3 columns. And obviously this is rough. You want to make sure the spacing are the same, and when you're actually building the website, you want to make sure the spacing between the columns are the same. And then inside these columns, maybe you want to have like heading inside here. Okay, have another heading here. Maybe you are describing your services. You can have another heading here. And some text, maybe like a call to action button, then like some text here as well, and then maybe like a call to action button here. Then you can do the same thing here. So this is it. If you look at this, I know this is, I know what you're thinking. This is really bad. I know, I agree. Yes, this is bad. It doesn't have to be fancy, but this is something that you can look at and know exactly what you're building. So if we start building your website now, if we want to build out this page, it's going to be easy because we look at it and we already know what it is that we are building. So we're actually going to try and build out what we have here so you can actually see what I mean. And also, don't worry about this because you can always change this later. Let's say you build it and you don't like it. You can always change this and go out and look for more inspiration. But we're actually going to try to build out this page. Okay, so if we go back to home and go back to step by step, we've completed the logo and favicon here. The next thing we need to do is to start building your website. And then I'm going to show you how you can do this in 3 different ways. The first one is to import entire website that is already made for you, and then you can customize it to match your brand and make it unique, make it your own. And then the second one will be building your website from scratch. And then the last one will be building with blogs. So blogs are basically like already made sections that you can just join different sections together to come up with a page to build your website. So we're going to get started with the first one, which is importing an entire website and customize it. And then what we need to do for importing entire website, here you can see that I've divided this into 3. Over here, what we need to do is to choose a design and then import the demo site. And then we can start changing the theme style and start customizing everything. So let's go ahead and log into your website and then we can get started with choosing your design. So how to log into your website? Go to your website.com. As you can see, my own domain name is mywebsite111.com. So go to your domain.com and then here you can put /wp-admin like this and then click enter. So go ahead and type your email address or username. So your email address will be the one you entered when you are installing WordPress inside your SiteGround account. So my email address was info@wplifestyle.com and then I'm going to put my password and click enter. So as you can see here, I'm logged into my WordPress dashboard and this is what your dashboard will look like as well. I'm going to go ahead and clear out all these junks here because I don't like any of this. So go to screen options here. Then I can click this Elementor overview. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this one, quick draft, WordPress news, welcome. So once I get rid of all of that, and then you can get rid of this as well. But I like to leave the site health here so I can see my site health. So this is our dashboard right here. If you remember when we were setting up our website, we installed a theme. So if you go to appearance here and go to themes, you can see that we have the theme, which was the Astra theme we installed earlier. So if you have the Astra theme, you're going to get these options here. You can see one of them is the Astra options. Click on the Astra options if you're using the same theme that we installed. Over here, you can see the option to install the importer plugin. So this is the plugin that we're going to use to import a whole website so we can customize it and make it our own. So you can install that from here, or you can just go to plugins. If we go back to plugins here, then we can click on new. And then from plugin dashboard here, we can search for starter template. And once we type that in here, we'll get these options here. So select the starter template here. So it's the same as the importer plugin from the Astra options. So click on install and activate. So once we have that activated, if we go back here to appearance and go to Astra options, now you can see that that install importer template is no longer here because we already installed that. So it's basically the same thing. So what you can do now, here you can see that we get a new option that says starter template. Click on that. You can see all these things that you see here, they are all complete website that is already made for you that you can just import and start customizing it. So if you're a beginner and you're completely new to WordPress, this is a great starting point because once you install any of this will automatically install the plugins that you're going to need for that kind of website for you. Because if you're new to WordPress and you want to build a website from scratch, you're going to need some plugins and you're not going to know which plugins that you need because you're completely new and you have no idea which plugin does what and which ones that you need. And you don't want to install unnecessary plugin. So once you install one of these starter templates, this is going to automatically install the plugins that you need for you based on the website that you choose. So if you choose like a e-commerce website or simple website, it's going to install the plugins that you need for you. So as you can see here, all of them are not free. You can see the ones that have the agency on it. These ones you have to pay to use them. Then you can go to this drop down arrow here and select free to get only the free ones. So as you can see here, we have only the free ones. So everything here is completely free. For the website that we're building today, we're just going to keep it simple. We're just going to build like a basic website so that I can show you how everything works. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to create pretty much any kind of website that you want. So what I'm going to do is to scroll down here and find the one that I want to use. So you don't have to use the exact same one that I'm using. So you can go ahead and choose any one. So I'm going to use this digital agency one here. So once I select this, I'm going to click import site. And then if you select this option, this is going to delete anything that you already have on your website. It's going to delete everything completely and install this. But as you know, we don't have anything on the website, but I'm going to leave it selected anyways so that you guys can see how this works. And then it's going to install all the plugins that you need for you. And it's going to import the content, the widgets. And it's going to import all the customizer settings and everything. So let's go ahead and import this. Okay, so now you can see that our website has been imported successfully. So we can click on view website to see what it looks like. So this is our website right now. You can see that this is looking really good. Just a few clicks, we have a website. All you need to do now is to come on this website and change everything that you don't need on the website. Okay, so if we go to about page, you can see that we have it completely. Then if we go here on the services page, you can see that we have all the services here. And then you can go to contacts page. Then you can see that we have a form here as well that we can fill up. So now that we have this, we can go ahead and start customizing our website. So let's go back here and see what we need to do next. Okay, so we choose the design, we imported the demo site. Now let's change the theme style and start customizing it. So your theme style is basically the look and feel of your entire website. We can go ahead and customize it individually, change every single color, but that's going to take a long time. But if you do theme style, once you customize your theme and the look and feel, how you want it to look, the color of this text, customize everything. So once you make any changes on the website, that changes will automatically take the structure and the feel and the style that you have on the theme already. So you don't need to customize individually. That will save you a lot of time. So let's go ahead. Let me show you how you can do that. So because we're using Elementor to build our website, we're going to edit the pages with Elementor. So go to edit with Elementor. So now you can see that we are in here. We can edit this with Elementor. You can edit pretty much anything on this website. So all you need to do now is basically click on what you want to change. So if you want to change this text, you can see the little pen icon there, click on it and then do the changes. That's how it works. You can click on the button, then you can do the changes over here. You can see there's no link. This is where you put the link where you want the button to go. But before we do that, we can do this individually. You can go here, go to style, change the color here. If you want, you can see you can change the color to whatever you want. But that's not what we are going to do, because that is going to take a long time. That's why you need to use the theme style. So let's go here, click on this icon here, and then go to site settings. And then here you can see that we have global color and then we have fonts. So here, what we want to do first is to set our global colors and global fonts. So let's go here. We have these 4 colors here. We have our accent color, we have this color. So we have a branding color. What we want to do now is to go back here. We go to branding. So if you did your branding, you have your color, you have everything already. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this one as my primary color. And I'm going to go back here and paste that here. Now I have my primary color there. And then if you want to change the name, you can go ahead and change the name. So if you want to name it something you prefer, you can go ahead and change it. It doesn't have to be a primary color. Then I'm going to choose my secondary color. So I'm going to make this my secondary color. I'll paste that here. Then I'm going to choose my text color. I want to make this my text color, this one here. So we'll come back here and we can paste that here. That's my text color. And then accent color, I want to make my accent color blue, this one here. So I'm going to copy this blue and come back here and paste it. Now that we have all this color here, and then if you have more color, you can go ahead and add it, like I have this color here as well. I'm going to take this color here and I'm going to go back here, and then I'm going to add more color. And I'm going to paste that color here. Maybe I will just name this one custom number 1. So that's a custom color number 1. You can just give it the name if you want, but I'm just going to use custom number 1. And then I'm going to add black and white. So I'm going to add black. Okay, so that's black. And just name it the color. For example, we can just say black here. And then I'm going to add white. And we can just name this one white. So now that we have all the colors, so this is all the colors that we have, the global colors. So we can go ahead and click update. So make sure you click update. If not, this will not save. So now we can go back here and go to fonts. So now we want to change our primary font. So what do you want to use as your primary font? So I'm going to change to, remember when I go here, I said that I recommend any of these. So I'm going to use Roboto as my primary font. So I go here, you can see it's already on Roboto. So I'm going to leave that there on Roboto here. So if yours is not on Roboto, you can click on this, click here, and then let's say you want to use Lato, you can search for Lato here. Then you can select Lato. And then secondary font, I want to use, let's go back here. Secondary font, I want to use Open Sans. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to search for Open Sans. Okay, so you can see here we have it. I'm going to select that. That is our secondary font. So you can see here the fonts are changing. And then text, I want to use Roboto as well, or just for the sake of it, I'm going to use Montserrat. I prefer to use just 2 fonts, so I'm going to use Lato or Montserrat. So let me go back here and use Lato for my text fonts. Okay, so you guys can see that I have Lato, and then accent font, I can leave it on Roboto. Then I'm going to click update. And then now that we have those fonts set, the next thing we're going to do is typography. So typography is our font. So now we on a website, so every website we have like a different heading. So we have heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, and heading 6. So you want to make sure, so we want to choose a global heading, color, and font for everything. That way, once we add that heading, the heading will automatically pick up the color, so we don't have to give it color and font and size every single time. So what I'm going to do now is heading 1. So I'm going to do heading 1. So this right here, it's probably, you can see here that we have this text here. So let's go to heading 1. And what I want to do, you can choose individual color for this, but I don't want that. I want to use my global color. So I'm going to use heading 1. I'm going to use my primary color, which is this one here, for all my heading 1. And then typography, I want to make every heading 1. I want to use my primary font, okay, which is Roboto. I want to use that. So we have that, and then we can go ahead here and change the size and everything. But right now, I don't see any heading 1 on this page. So it's not really taking effect. So let me use heading 2 to give you an example of that. So let's go here and change the color for heading 2. So if I change that color right now, you can see that this right here is a heading 2. Okay. If I change the color for heading 2 to a different color, you can see everything. You can see here we have heading 2, we have heading 2 here. They all change the same color. You can go ahead and change individual color here. Obviously, you already have your brand color, which is these colors here. You want to use any of these colors, so you want to use the global colors that you already have. So you can choose any of this color. So for all my heading 2s, I want to use this particular color, so my secondary color. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at this for now. And then typography, I want to use my secondary font, Okay, so you can see the font is like that, which is like Lato text font. If you want, you can use any of these fonts that you set in the global fonts, and then we can go ahead and play around with the size. So we can play around with the size, that way we know exactly what the size is going to look like. So right now, on maybe I want to leave the size on maybe 45. So let's say 45, and that's on desktop. So I'm going to do the same on tablet. So on tablet, I want to make the size 35, and then I'm going to do the same thing on mobile, right? So you want to make sure everything is optimized on mobile. You can see how that looks like. So I want to make the size maybe 30. So we have that. I'm going to go back to desktop size. So we have the desktop size. So that is the heading 2. Now let's go and do the same thing with heading 3. Okay, so let's find heading 3. Let's see if we have heading 3 anywhere. Okay, so we have it here. The heading 3 over here. Okay, so if we change the color, you can see the color changes. That's how you know where you have heading 3. Okay, for all my heading 3s, I'm going to use this color right here. I'm going to use my primary color, and then I'm going to use maybe this font. I'm going to use my test font. And then for the size, I can just leave it the way it is, or you can go ahead and mess around with the fonts and change the size. So let me go to desktop. Let's see. Okay, desktop looks good. Go to mobile here. So you get the idea. You can do the same thing with heading 4. Let's see if we have heading 4 anywhere. So we don't have heading 4 anywhere, but you can do the same thing with heading 4, heading 5. And once you're done, click update. So once we're done with all the other changes, you can see now we can go out of here and then go to buttons. So if we do make changes to the buttons here, we have all these buttons here. We can choose the text to be white. Okay, so the button text will be white, and we can choose the background to be this color. For example, you can see I'm going to choose the accent color, so it's going to be this blue, and the hover one will be, so you want to go to hover, and then the text will be white, and then you can change the color to black, for example, like this, or you can change it to secondary color like this. Okay, it's going to be blue like this. Okay, so that's how you do it. And then if you want to add like border radius here, you can just click on this, and this is how you add that. That means every button that you add is going to have this. And you can see how that looks. So we added that on the hover, right? So when we hover, it changed, the radius changed like this. And if you want to add the same thing to the actual button, you have to go to normal here, and then you can add the same thing. Or if you maybe you want to make it completely flat, then you can just add 0 here. So that will make this completely flat. And once you hover over it, it's going to look like this. You can see that we have really nice effect there. And then now that we are done with the buttons, so if you go down here, find any button, and it's going to look the same. Instead of going ahead and doing every button individually, you can just use the theme style to style all the buttons so that they look the same, your website look consistent. So if I go back here and select images, we can do the same thing with images. You can see we have all these images here. If you reduce the opacity, that will reduce the opacity for all the images. And then if we add like border radius for like maybe 50, that will look like this. Okay, that will look like this. You can now see that we have the radius here. If you add solid, if you add like a line, like a border line, you can see that we have the border line. Then you can change the color maybe like this. You can see what you can do. So you're basically making the changes for all the images that you have on your website, right? Instead of just doing individual images at a time. You can see all these images here have the border line, but maybe you want to make the borderline just one so that it looks nice instead of too big, but I don't need any borderline. I'm going to remove that. You can leave this like this if you want, or you can make it 25 like this. Yeah, you can see this is what you can do. Then I'll go back here, and once you're done with the theme style, you can go back here. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to customize your website. Okay, so the next thing we need to do now is to build our website from scratch. I have here design like Disney, design like Elementor. This is just to show you that you can pretty much look at any website and then replicate it and like build the same thing if you wanted to. So I'm just going to show you how you can do that. But before I show you how you can design like Elementor or Disney, so let's go back to our rough sketch here. You can see here that we have this rough sketch of what we want our website to look like. So let's go ahead and design this first section here. This is our first section with 2 columns, and then we have video and we have title, and then we have some text and buttons. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So let's go back to our website, and over here we'll edit with Elementor. So once we're here, what I'm going to do is to delete everything and start from scratch. So I'm going to click on this X on every section to get rid of all the sections. Okay, so now that we have everything deleted, if we click on this plus icon here, you can see that we have these options to add different type of sections, right? So if we go back to our little sketch here, you can see this is our section that we have 2 columns inside. So let's go back here and add 2 column section, okay? Now you can see that we have the section here, but it's really small. So we want to click on the section here, edit section. So over here under the layout, you want to increase the height. So click on this and select minimum height. And then you can increase the height as you wish. So I'm just going to leave it like this. And you can see that we have that 2 column here. So what you want to do is to go back here. You can see we have a video here, and then we have some heading, text, and some button. So we can go ahead and add a video here. So you go back to these little icons here, and then we can drag in a video here. Now you can see that we have a video right here. And then you can go ahead and you already know how to copy the link and put the link of the YouTube video, or you can just upload the video on your website and copy the link and put it over here. And then over here we want to put the heading. We put a heading, and then we want to add some text. So we drag in the text editor here, and then we want to add a button. We drag in a button here. Okay, so I've already showed you guys how to style this, so you can go ahead and go over here and type in whatever you want for your heading, and then for the text you can go ahead and type whatever it is that you want to type in there, or you can add more text there if you want. I'm just going to copy this and paste it, so like this, and the button. And then if you want to make this one bigger, you can do this, or you can do like this. You can drag it around, or you can just click on the column here and then go over here on the advanced, and then you can add padding like that. You can add padding in between the columns. So this is pretty much how you can design. And then we can go back to the section here and maybe add like a background. So let's go here, maybe we can just add like a background color. And maybe we can just add like a white background, a blue background if you want. But obviously I prefer to use image. So we can go over here under the section, add a background image here. So we choose an image. Let's say maybe this one here. You can see that we have the image in the background, but we want to position that to the center, and we also want to change the repeat. You can see here we have the image over and over again. So we want to change that to no repeat. So you can see here that the image is really small in the middle. So we want to make sure that the image is covering the entire section. So we go here under the size, we change this to cover. Now you can see that the image is covering the entire section. Now you can see that this text here is not readable. So we want to change the color or just add an overlay on top of the image. So we'll go here, background overlay. Then we can choose a different color. Maybe we can choose black color like this, or maybe we can choose like whatever color you want. So let's choose this one, and then you can increase the opacity from here, be like that, or you can reduce the opacity a little bit. So that's pretty much the section that we have here. You can see that we have exactly what we have here. You can follow the same steps to add all of this. This here is a 3-column section. Okay, so if we go back here, and then we can add a new section, we can add a 3-column instead of 2. And now you can see that we have those 3 columns here. And then inside the column, you can have pretty much anything you want. So maybe we have like image, we have some text, we have a button. So let's go here and do that. I can grab an image and put it in here, for example, and then I can add some text here. Then I'll add a button. So let's just assume this is what is inside the columns. And now what I can do is I will style this one. So maybe I want everything to be in the middle. So let me just pick an image here. And maybe I want this image here. And then, so I want the text to center to the middle. So the alignment, put in the middle. And then we do the center alignment for the button as well. So we have everything in the middle like that. And then maybe I want a background for each individual columns, not the section. Because if you look over here, this section is overlapping. So we are going to overlap the section. So we don't want to give it any background. But we want to give a background to the individual column. So you select the column, go to style. You can see the background here. Maybe we can give this any background that we want. Maybe you want it to be this one, for example. Maybe we can just give it the primary color here. And then the text, we can just change the text color to white. And then if we want, we can just add border radius to the column as well. So we can just click on this and click on border. Then we can add border radius to it. You can see maybe we add like 50. So that will make the corner curve like this. You can see what we have here. So now that we did that, instead of doing the same thing over and over and over again, we can just pretty much copy this and paste it here, or we can just duplicate this into 3. Okay, you can see we have 3 of them, and now we can delete the empty ones. We can just delete this one, delete this one. So now we have 3. So the next thing we need to do, we want to add space in between each columns. So I'm going to select the first column, go over here under the advanced. So once you're here, you want to make sure you unlink the values, because if not, whatever you add here is going to be added all around. It's going to add on top, the left and right and the bottom. So I will unlink the values, and then I'm going to add 10 here. And I'm going to add 10 on the right as well. Now you can see that we have space here. So I'm going to copy this one. Then I'm going to paste the style here. Then I'm going to paste the style here as well, so that they all look the same. You can see now that we have really nice space here. And then the next thing we need to do, you can see that the image and the button is overlapping at the top and the bottom. So if I select this column again, so if I select the first column again, you can see here that we already have margin. So this time we're going to add bottom and top padding. So padding goes inside and margin goes outside. So I'm going to unlink the value here. Then I'm going to add 10 on the top. Okay, now you can see that we have this space here. And then I'm going to add 10 on the bottom as well. Now you can see that we have this space here. So if you can copy that again, and then you can paste the style here and paste the style here. There we go. You can see that it's looking really nice now. So maybe you want them to be different colors. So you can go ahead and select the middle one, for example, and then you can change the background color for the middle one. So we go to style, and then we can change the background color from here. So maybe you want this color to be something different, maybe like this, and then you can go ahead and do that. So now you can see that we have this. And then if we go back here on our little sketch here, you can see that those 3 columns are overlapping the first section. So what we do now is to select the entire section. Okay, so the entire section have the 3 columns inside. So we select the section and then you go to advanced. You want to unlink this, so we want to add negative margin here. So if we add like, let's say 200, see, it's going to put this space here on the top. But if we put minus here, that's negative, it's going to put the 200 like this. Now that will be overlapping on the top, but I don't want it 200, I want it like 100 like this. Okay, you can see it's looking pretty good. Okay, so over here, maybe we want to add more space here. You can see how this is a little bit jammed up here. So you can select the top section here. Then we can go to advanced. And then here, make sure you unlink the values here. And then we can add padding instead of margin. So we want that inside, not outside. So we're going to add padding. So I'm going to add 100 on the bottom. So we have 100 here. You can see that's looking pretty good. And then the same thing with the button here. So let's say you finish your page and you can see how it's really close to the footer here. So we want to add space here again. So we want to add 100 on the button here. So we're going to select this. This time we want the space on the outside. So we're going to add 100 margin. So we have that 100 here. So if we go back here, now you can see that we have the space here. And here you can see that we have exactly what we sketched out. You see how this is really helpful because we know exactly what we want to grade. With that out of the way, let's go back here and I'm going to show you how you can design your website like the Disney website. What they did here is pretty much they have heading here and then they have a text and then they have a image collage. So they pretty much put this image together and upload it here as one image. So if I click on it, if I click on save, now you can see it's all one image. So let's go back here and now let's try to do the same thing. So we'll add another section here and this time we just need 2 column section. And then click on the section, go to layout, click on height, then we can do minimum height here and then you can increase that as you wish. We want to add a heading and some text. Okay, go back to this little icon here, get a heading, put it here. We put the text editor here. That's it. And then we can put an image here. Let's grab an image and put that here. Then we can go ahead and select the image. Obviously, you're going to upload your own images. But for now, I'm going to use one of these images here. I'm going to select this one. And then you can go ahead and change the image size if you want. Maybe you want it a little smaller. You can go ahead and change it here. You can do a custom size. You can do thumbnail. It's going to look like this. Or you can just use another image altogether. We can select this one. It's going to look like this. And then you can see the next one. Now they have the image on the left and the text on the right. So it's pretty much the same thing. So now instead of creating another section, we can just duplicate this section. Now we have the same section. All we need to do, drag this image over here. Now the image is on the left and we have the text on the right. And then you can go ahead and change the image to a different image. Maybe you can just change it to one of these images here. We'll change it to this one. And then one more thing, you can see that they have their text in the middle. They have the heading and text in the middle. So we want to do that as well. So here you select the section. And then under the layout here, we want to go to position and make sure that the vertical alignment is in the middle. And you can do the same here as well. Make sure the vertical alignment is in the middle. We'll select the middle. Everything will be in the middle like this. So that's how you can create like Disney. You can see how they have like background color. If you want to do that as well, it's easy. Just go to your section. And then you can add a background color. Go to style and then select background. Or maybe you like this color, but obviously use your brand color. So let's say you like this color that they have here. You can go ahead and use the color picker and pick the color like this, copy the hex code, and then you can add the color here. Okay, so this is the exact color that they use, but I don't like this color. I'm going to go back and use one of our brand colors here. So maybe you want this color, an overlay, maybe black overlay like this. I'm going to change the color to blue maybe. So maybe you want the color like this, and then you can select the white text like that. So the next thing is how to design like Elementor website. So I choose Elementor because we are using Elementor. So maybe you want to create like Elementor. So here you can see what we already did this. If we go back here, you can see that we did this already. So this overlapping section, you can see that Elementor have that as well over here. So we did that already. But I'm going to show you guys how to do this. You see how they have this curve here in the background and this circle thing here. I'm going to show you how you can do that. So this is basically just a background image. To do exactly this, what you can do, you go back to this vector design that we used to create our logo, and once you're here you can click use online. Okay, so once we're in here, what we're going to do is to select the square here, and then we can draw like a rectangle here. Okay, so I'm going to remove the border color, so I don't want any border color here. So I'm going to remove that, and then obviously you make sure you give it the color that you want. So let's say we want it to be, let's go back and get one of our brand colors. So let's say for example we want it to be this color here. You can go ahead and copy this color if we want it to be this color. So make sure you use your brand color so everything is unique. So we'll go here and we can paste the color like this. We click enter. We have this, the background. So what we're going to do now is to select the pen tool. So we use the pen tool, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go this, and then I'm going to go like this, then I'm going to go here, the corner, and I'm going to go to the edge here, and I'm going to go all the way to the beginning. Okay, and that's the end. Now we can select this, you can see. So we select it, you can see that it's selected. I don't want any border color on it, so I'm going to uncheck this border color here. Then I want to give it background color. So maybe we want to give it our brand color. We want to give it this color here. Want to give it this one. Okay, the custom color. We're going to copy the custom color here. Copy that. Go back here. Paste it here. Okay, and click enter. Now we have it. So select it again. Double click on it. So you want to drag it down like this. That will give you a really nice curve. You can see how nice the curve is. Then do the same here. Get that nice curve here. And then you can do the same here as well. Double click on this point here, like the circle thing. Double click on it. And then you're going to see these two arrows here. So you can actually use this to control the shape. You can see like that. Or you can even move it around to different location like this. So what I want to do, I want to move it like this, like that. Because if you go here, you can see how this is shaped. And then I'm going to select this one. I'm going to move it up a little bit. And I'm going to select this one. And then I'm going to move it up a little bit like this. And I'm going to select this one here. And I'm going to move it up like that. I'm going to move this one down a little bit, maybe like this. Play around with it, and then you will get the result that you want. I think this is good enough just to show you how it works. Now I'm going to go back here and look. You can see that we have this circle thing here. Now let's go back here. We get a circle, and then hold shift, and we're going to draw that circle right here like this. It's right there. So let's move it a little bit here maybe. And then what we can do, use the same color that we are using here, because if you look over here, this and this circle is pretty much the same color. So what you do now is to give this circle the same background color. So we go to background here, and then this time we're going to use the eyedropper. Click on it, and then come over here and click. Now you can see that we have the exact same color. Okay, now you can see that we have it. What we can do now is to export this. We can go ahead and group all this together if you want. You can group all of this as one. You can just click like this and group them. And then now you select it. Then we can go here and export. Now we have it. This is what we are exporting. So make sure this is in JPEG. We are going to select JPEG. like this. And then here we're going to select selection only, because we don't want to export the page, the entire page. We're going to select selection. Now we're going to click download. Okay, now you can see that it's downloaded here. So let's go back to our website here. So what we're going to do now is here, we're just going to change the background. This is the image that we have right now. So let's go ahead and change the background image. Let's drag this one in here. Okay, so here we have it. I'm going to select that. Here it is. We have our background image. Now we're going to remove the overlay. So let's make the overlay a little bit like this. So this is just an example. Obviously you want to use like a fade color. I just use this color to show you guys how this was created. You can see, you know what, let's go back to show you. Let's go back here. We still have it here. So I'm going to double click on this, ungroup this. If you go over here, you can see that this doesn't look good. I'm going to reduce the opacity like this, right, to 25. And I'm going to select this one. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to reduce the opacity to 25 as well. There you go. And then I'm going to select this one. I'm going to reduce the opacity as well to 70. Okay, so now that we have this, let's go ahead and group this again. Okay, let's group everything again. Now let's go and export this. Make sure it's JPEG and just the selection. We're going to download this. And let's go back to our website. Let's change the background again. Click on section, background. And let's change this background to the new one. Let's drag the new one in here. Okay, let's select that. Okay, so that's looking a lot better, you can see. And now what you can do, you go back to overlay. So let's change this back to black this time. Like this. Let's change this like this, or maybe we can change it to something else, maybe this color here. This. Now you can see it in the background. Now let's change the text to white this time. So text color white. This one we're going to change to white as well. Okay, there we have it. You can see this is looking pretty good. You can see here. So this is how you achieve similar background. I mean, you can use this method for pretty much anything that you want to use as a background. You can do this. And then if you want just like this, obviously, you can add a heading, add some text, add some button. So if you want it like that, you can go ahead and go back to your website, and then you can delete everything that we have in here. Right now, we just have 2 columns. All you need to do is to delete this column with the video. Now we have 1 column. And that's your heading, and then you can center that. You can make it center. You can move that to the middle. Then this one you can center to the middle as well, the alignment. And then you can do the button as well to the middle. Now if you go back here, you can see that's pretty much exactly what we have here. If you go to style, you can go to typography here. You can change the size to whatever you want. And then whatever you're doing, make sure it looks good on mobile as well. So click on tablet here. Now you can see what it looks like on tablet, and then you click on mobile. Now you can see that this doesn't look good on mobile. So you want to select that. You want to select the text and go to typography. So here you can see it says mobile here. So any changes you're making here will not affect the tablet and the desktop. This will only apply on mobile phones. So you want to reduce the size to maybe like this, or maybe like that. Okay, so maybe 30. And then you can see here that these 2 texts is touching each other. There is no space. And then you can increase the line height here like this if you want. Make it like 2 like this, or maybe 1.5. Now you can see it's looking really nice. And then if we go back to tablet here, you can see we can change this if we want as well. We can change this like this. 60. And if we go back to desktop, you can see it's still exactly like this. Maybe you don't want this text to be here. Maybe you want all of them to be on the same line. You can go ahead and adjust the typography as well. You can change the size from here like that. Now you can see this is looking pretty good. So that's pretty much how you build from scratch, and I've showed you how to change the background color with image. I've showed you space and padding. I showed you typography, I showed you the button and the anchor links. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you what the anchor links means. So maybe we want this button to scroll to a specific section on the page. Maybe you want this button to scroll to this last section of the page when someone click on it. So that's pretty much anchor link, or maybe this button here. Let's do one. So what we're going to do now is this section here. I'm going to name this section. I'm going to change this text to sample. You know, I like sample. So this is a sample section. And now what I'm going to do is to put an anchor link here. Now let me search for anchor link. We're going to add anchor here. So we're going to grab this anchor link and then we're going to put it anywhere. You can put it on top here. Don't worry, it's not going to show on your page. If you go like this, it's not going to show. So it's basically like a link to link a specific button or section to this particular section. So now that we have it here, what I'm going to do is to go over here. You want to put an ID for the anchor link. So I'm going to call it sample. Yeah, so we have that. And now if we scroll up here, I want this button here to scroll people down to the sample section here. Okay, so click on the button, and then here that we have the link. So you want to make sure that this hashtag is there, and then you can add sample, the same ID that we gave the section. So this is the same ID, the sample ID. So if we go down here, we have the ID here is sample, and we have a capital X there. So let's go back here and make sure we have the same exact ID. So here we have the small x, so we're going to change that to capital S. Now that we have that, let's save it and let's click on preview. So let's open that in a new tab. So this is what our website looks like right now. And then if we click on this button here, now you can see how that will automatically scroll you down to this sample section. So that's pretty much what anchor link means. So you use that to link a button to a specific section of the page, or you can link a button to another page. So this is pretty much it. You can just click on it and it will scroll you down here. That's pretty much what anchor link is. So let's go back here. We covered the anchor link, we covered duplicate section, copy style, we did that. And then illustrations and icons. I already showed you guys where to get illustrations and icons. You can use that on your website as the image. So over here, you can just use the icons or the illustrations instead of these images that we have here. You can just click on this and then you can choose a different illustration. Or this here is an illustration. Maybe you want to use one of these instead. You can go ahead and insert that here, and then you can use that instead. And you can reduce the size like this, and then or you can just do like a custom size and put it to the size that you want. So that's pretty much how you can use the icons and the illustrations. And then the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to add animations and hover effects. I probably showed you that already. And then over here, what we're going to do is to add animation to these columns here. So we're going to select the column, then we're going to go to advanced, and we're going to go to motion effects. And then entrance animation, we can do fade up. So when you load the page, this image is going to fade up like this. And then we're going to do hover effects. So let's go back to style here. And then we're going to select the background, hover effects. You can change the hover effects here. You can change the background color to different color. Let's say this color, for example. If you put this color here, if you do this, put your mouse over it. If you hover over the image, the background will change color like this. So that's hover effects, but I don't want that here. So I'm going to remove the hover effect like this. So right now, when we hover on the button, it just changed the color of the background because we have the background color on the button. So what we're going to do now is to add hover animation. So maybe we can add like grow or shrink. So if we push shrink, when you hover on it, the button will shrink and become small, or you can put grow, the button will pop out and be a little bit bigger. So whatever you want to add, or if you add rotate, it's going to do like this. So go ahead and add the animation that you want on it if you want, but I don't want any animation, so I'm going to remove this and leave it to none. So it's not going to change anything. Okay, so go ahead and update this, and then let's go back here. and we cover the animation and hover effect. So that's pretty much how you can build your website from scratch. And obviously this is the home page, and then you can go ahead and do the same thing with the about page. So you want to make sure everything look the same and look consistent. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to build your website using blocks. So blocks are pretty much pre-made sections that you can directly import inside your website to speed up the web design process. Instead of building everything from scratch, you can just import the blocks that you want into your website to make it look really nice and exactly how you want it. So let me show you how you can use blocks to build your website. Okay, so we built this home page. I'm going to go ahead and edit this home page with Elementor. And then I'm going to delete the entire home page, or maybe not. So let me just delete from here. Let me delete from here. And now what we're going to do, Elementor already has some blocks for you. So if you click on this middle icon right here, and then this is Elementor templates. So this is actually templates that you can actually import. You can see this is all individual pages that you can actually import and use this. So this is what the page will look like. Okay, so this is the video, heading, text, and button. So you can actually import this entire page. And then the ones that have the Pro icon on it, you need to have the Elementor Pro to use any of this ones. So if you like it here, you can see it. This is a full website. This is about us. This is contact page. This is the gallery page. And this is the services page. So if you like any of this and you want to use the Pro template, you can just go ahead and get the Elementor Pro. I have the link in the description box below. You can click on it to get Elementor Pro. And once you get that, you can install it on your website, and then you can start using all the Pro templates. But for now, what we want to do is to use the blocks to build our website. So if you click on the blocks, now you're going to see different sections. So everything you see here is an individual section. Obviously, the sections with Pro on it, you need the Elementor Pro to use those. So we want to make sure we use the ones without the Pro. So now we want to get a pricing section. So we want like a services section. So what we're going to do now is to look at all the sections that we have here and see if we like any of them. Maybe we like this one right here, and then you can go ahead and import this one right here. So if you click on insert, and then it's going to ask you to get an account with Elementor, and then go ahead and put your email address, password, and login. So I'm going to log into my Elementor account right now. Okay, now you can see that I've logged into my account and I've imported the services page, and it's already graded for you. Instead of you to start grading everything from scratch, you can go ahead and start customizing it. So you can go ahead and maybe change the services to your brand color. Maybe you can go ahead and change services, the heading here, to your brand color, select it, and then go over here to styling, and then go here, select your brand color. Maybe you want to change it to this color right here. And then you can do the same with this. Maybe you want to change that to your brand color as well. Change it to this color. And then the text, if you want to change that text to your brand color as well, maybe this one here, so it's a little bit readable. And then you can copy this one, and then you can paste the style here, and then paste the style here as well, and then copy this one, and you can paste the style here, and then you can paste the style here as well. And then you can go ahead and swap these images with your own image. And then if you're worried about the sizes, so let's say if we change this to this image here, like this. Now in this image, you can see that the design is not the same because the image is definitely like a different size. You can see that this image is really big. So if you're worried about that, you can go ahead and select this image, for example. And over here, you can see the size of the image. You can see that the image is 800 by 600 pixel. You can go ahead and crop your own image the same size. Make sure your image is 800 by 600 pixel. So let's click on this one. You can say this one is 400 by 400 pixel. If we choose that, it's going to look like this, which is not bad. But if you want to use image size, if you want it to look exactly the same, you can go ahead and crop that image. And you can also crop image inside here. You can click on edit image, and this tab will open here, and then you can crop the image like this. So you can choose aspect ratio like 800 by 600. So that will be exactly the size here. And then you can just drag this crop theme. Maybe you want just the face of the guy. You can select this and then you can click on crop, and that will crop the image like this. You can save this and update. Okay, now so if we refresh that and if we go back and select this same image that we cropped, you can see that we have the same size here. If we insert that, now you can see that the image is exactly the same and it's going to look exactly like these ones that we have right here. So that's how you do it. You can just crop the image exactly the same size with the image that was there. You can see now we just created this section in a matter of minutes. Instead of creating this section from scratch, we just created this using blocks. Then you can go ahead and style it, add animation if you want. Click on this and then you can go to advanced and you can add motion effects. You can add entrance animation like fade up, for example, and then the image will come in like this. And then you can copy the style and you can paste it on each of them like this. And then if you update this, so now let's go here and refresh this page, and you can see how this will fade up. See right there, pretty cool. So that's pretty much how you do it. And then maybe you can go ahead and style your website and make it look really unique. We can duplicate this, for example, like that. We have a duplicate, and then we can make this one really big. Click on this, and then we can go to style. We can click on size and we'll make this like this big. Then we can go to the color here and we can reduce the opacity like this. That maybe you're seeing it a little bit. Maybe we can change the color to different colors. Since this one is red, maybe we can change that to black, or maybe we can change it to blue like that. Then we can reduce the opacity now to like this. And now we can go to advanced, and then we're going to add some negative margin here. So we're going to add -170 like this. And then you can see that we have like a big shadow of services in the background. You can go to your tablet like this. You can see that this one in the background is not looking very good. And then if you go to mobile as well, you can see that this one is not looking very good either. So what we're going to do is to go to the text like this. And then we're going to increase the size like that to 65 or 60. And then we're going to go to advanced, and then we're going to unlink that. We're going to put -100. Okay, so you probably won't see it because it's really small. And if you want to see it, you can go ahead and change the opacity a little bit like this. Now we can see it a little bit there. And then we can do the same thing with the tablet. Now we have the tablet there. We can change the size to like this. And then we'll go to advanced here, and then we can put -100. Okay, it's like that. It's not looking good. So we want to add maybe -130 like that. Okay. So now you can see that it's looking good on desktop, looking good on tablet, and it's also looking good on the mobile phone. And then if you look at these ones, you can see they are not looking good on the mobile phone. We need space here. So what we can do is select this, and then we can go to advanced. We want to add maybe 10 margin and link this. We want this all around. So we want this all around like this. Okay, we did that one, so we can just copy that. So we're not going to paste it on this one because this is a different color. Let's paste it on the last one here. We'll paste the style here. It's going to look like that. And then we're going to go and enter this one manually. We're going to put 10 here all around. Okay, now you can see that's looking good. And then obviously you can add different sections, any section that you want. You can go ahead and add another section like this. You can go to blocks, and then you can find something else. Maybe you're looking for a call to action. You can go here and select call to action, and then you can see all the call to action sections that you can import into your website. Maybe you like this one, and you can go ahead and tag that as well. Now you can see it's looking like this. And then this one here is the extra theme. So if you're using any other theme, you're not going to be able to see this, but if you're using the extra theme, which is the theme we are using right now, you'll be able to see this as well. If you click on it, you have the option to use any of the extra pages, or you can use the extra blocks. So they also have like pretty good blocks as well. So you can choose the category as well. So let's say you're looking for services as well. Here you can see that they have really nice designs that you can choose. You can choose any of these designs if you like it. Or you can go over here, maybe you're looking for portfolio, and then you can go ahead and choose any of these portfolio blocks if you like any of them, if you like the design. Maybe you like the design of this one, you can go ahead and click on it, and then you can save it, or you can import it. So you can click on import block. Now you can see that your block is imported here, and I don't know why it's imported here. So we're going to drag this out and put it on the bottom because we want it under this one. You can just drag it out and put it under the services page. Click on it, and then you can change these images to your own images. You can see here, this is like a gallery, and then you can just edit the images. If you want to write like a caption, you can go ahead and write the caption here. You can go ahead and do that. So if we save that and come back here, you can see that this one have caption. So you can go ahead and write caption on any of them, write whatever you want to write there, and then it will appear here. You save your changes by clicking the update button here, and then you can go ahead and view the page and see what your website looks like. You can see that's looking pretty good. So that's pretty much how you can create any type of website that you want, either by importing the entire website and then customize it, or you can just create everything from scratch, or you can just build the entire website using blocks. So if you like this video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified when next I upload a video. And then if you have any question, just leave it in the comment section below. I'm going to be responding to every single questions. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.